My name is Bonnie Davidson, and I am a hospice nurse. This presentation is on compassion fatigue. Dr. Charles Figley coined the term compassion fatigue. He defined compassion fatigue as a state experienced by those helping people or animals in distress. It is an extreme state of tension and preoccupation with suffering of those being helped to the degree that it can create a secondary traumatic stress for the helper. A study in the Journal of Pediatric Health indicated that people who are overly conscientious, have perfectionist tendencies, and are self-giving are predisposed to developing compassion fatigue. It is exactly people with those characteristics that go into caring professions, making them more susceptible. The more we open ourselves up to the pain of others, the more likely we are to share those feelings of heartbreak. Compassion fatigue saps the ability to cope, which can lead to mental and physical exhaustion. This quote by Naomi Rachel Remen has a poignant message to caregivers. The expectation that we can be immersed in suffering and loss daily and not be touched by it is as unrealistic as expecting to be able to walk through water without getting wet. Caregivers think it is a sign of weakness to feel the burden of caregiving, when in reality it is a natural reaction. The trick is to be able to identify the causes of compassion fatigue so that we can prevent it or reduce it once it has happened. Causes of compassion fatigue include compassion for others, having a strong sense of duty, extreme sense of responsibility, self-care neglect, exposure to stress, and lack of personal boundaries. Compassion fatigue affects the most dedicated caregivers. These are the people who work extra shifts to help out, don't use their vacation time, or work through their lunch hour because everyone is behind. Dr. Charles Figley called compassion fatigue a disorder that affects those who do their work well, noting it is the cost of caring for others in emotional or physical pain. The warning signs of compassion fatigue in staff include physical and emotional exhaustion, reduced ability to feel sympathy or empathy, anger and irritability, increased use of drugs or alcohol, dread working with a certain client, decreased enjoyment in your career, disruption of your worldview, anxiety or irrational fears, intrusive imagery, hypersensitivity or insensitivity to emotional situations, difficulty separating work life from personal life, absenteeism, impaired ability to make decisions or care for clients, problems with intimacy or personal relationships. As a caregiver, these feelings also manifest as decreased sense of accomplishment, disengagement, isolation, physical ailments, sadness, and apathy. In addition to the effects of the individual, compassion fatigue can disrupt an organization when a number of staff are struggling. Systematic compassion fatigue can result in high absenteeism, impaired staff relationships, poor performance, lack of flexibility, negativity, and a sense of hopelessness. All of these lead to a negative work environment, which just perpetuates the situation. Preventing compassion fatigue and treating compassion fatigue involve the same elements. Finding a balance in your life is the key. Practicing mindfulness and being present have shown to significantly help ease the symptoms of compassion fatigue. Meditating can help ease your mind and help you relax. Making a self-care plan, make a list of what is important to you and what allows you to find peace, then following through with that plan is also helpful. Knowing what triggers you, what causes you stress or anxiety can help you by preparing yourself when those situations arise. You simply say to yourself, I know this is challenging, but I can get through it. Finally, simply asking for help is another way to reduce compassion fatigue. How many times has someone said, "I would have helped, you should have asked"? Having someone to help carry your burden is emotionally uplifting and can ease your stress. You can't pour from an empty cup. Self-care is an important aspect of human life, but it is often neglected. Just as much value should be placed on caring for yourself as is placed on caring for others. Our society tends to look at self-care as selfish, when in fact it is a necessity. These are the references used for this presentation. Thank you, and remember to take care of yourself.